Wait, I know you might be wondering why the same video again. So, in order to reduce confusion and better understanding, I've decided to do it again. And yes, this is my first voiceover video. So, hello Ironman fans, welcome back. Today I'm gonna show you how you can make your own oxyhydrogen reactor with some basic materials. Not in cave, but in your room. If, like me, you don't have sufficient budget for expensive tools, this video is perfect for you. Without further ado, let's get started. Take an acrylic piece with a thickness of 0.5 cm and draw a circle with a diameter of 8 cm. The size is entirely up to you, but I recommend keeping it under 10 cm. To cut the acrylic, feel free to use whichever method is most comfortable for you. Since we are keeping this low cost, I am using a small hacksaw. After frequently getting my hands numb, I decided to use the hole technique. For this, first make holes around the circle. Then cut it out with a hacksaw. This method is very helpful when you don't have machines and need to do it by hand. And don't be a fool like me who is using drill machine like this. Please wear your safety glove and glasses because one slip and your hands could get seriously injured. Yes, that's me struggling while cutting acrylic. Cutting acrylic by bare hand, even with hacksaw, is not an easy task at all. And don't forget, you need two circular pieces of acrylic of the same size. Take a rubber sheet with a thickness of 4 mm. If you can, use 2 mm. I am using 4 cause I couldn't get it. Draw two circles, one with diameter of 5 cm and other of 6 cm. Like this. You can avoid this part. I am using the same hole technique to cut the rubber. We need 7 rubber rings. Number may vary depending on the thickness of the rubber. I am using iron metal. Since it is color coated, I need to remove the coating first. Cut 4 pieces of metal rings, same as the rubber rings. Make sure you leave some space in the metal rings for the voltage terminal. Before drilling holes in acrylic for nut bolts, make sure you mark position for holes, like hexagonal pattern in my case. This ensures that both acrylic pieces align perfectly with bolts. Additionally, create a larger hole slightly off center for the gas outlet in one acrylic. Again, I am telling you all, safety first. The most satisfying part. Look at the shine. With all our pieces ready, we can start making sandwich. I mean assembling the reactor, of course. Place acrylic with no gas outlet below. Now stack the rings on top of the acrylic like me. One rubber ring, then one metal ring,
put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me.
again two rubber rings.
Plan your own hands can land your own brand, and damn,
These rubber rings will act as insulators.
credibility convincingly unwilling to put in.
then one metal ring,
To get some power, don't be fucking sour. Take a cold shower, scream until
and so
you're
on.
louder. Work until you're prouder, and all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to
If the thickness of the rubber is 2 mm, stack the rubber and metal rings alternatively till you have used all the pieces, and make sure they are centered.
an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Once everything is stacked, top it with the second acrylic with gas outlet. Carefully insert holes.
Let's go. I'm just telling you to
Start with 2 parallel bolts and keep them slightly loose. Then add another 2 parallel bolts and continue this pattern.
yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart? Are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs. Are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns.
Make sure the metal rings don't touch any bolts.
It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns. We're on top, they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Now you can tighten completely. A simple wrench works just fine. This method prevents the acrylic from breaking due to unbalanced pressure while tightening the nut bolts. Nozzle is bit tight, so I need to heat the nozzle to make it fit. After securing the nut bolts, double check everything to make sure it's tight and aligned. I'm using a syringe to fill water inside the reactor. Your reactor should now be ready for testing. To make it look more like an arc reactor, I am using aluminum to create a ring with a diameter of 9 cm. For copper windings, I am using aluminum strip of 1.5 cm to make squares. Check the description for more details about the sizes. Let me know in the comments if you would prefer my videos with or without voiceover. Carefully insert a long tube. It should look like this. I used a check valve to see if the gas was pressurized, but it turns out we need more compression in the electrolyzer. Do subscribe for part 2.